Are you curious about how one man became the most notorious drug lord in history? Today we're delving into the rise of Pablo Escobar, a Colombian drug lord and narco-terrorist who made his fortune in the cocaine trade in the 1970s and 1980s. So how did Pablo Escobar become a drug lord? Let's start at the beginning. Born in poverty in 1949, Escobar had to work hard to make ends meet, but his intelligence and quick thinking soon led him down a different path. As a young adult, Escobar turned to a life of crime, stealing cars and selling them for a profit, but it was the drug trade that would ultimately change his life forever. In the 1970s, cocaine was becoming more popular in the United States, and drug traffickers in Colombia saw an opportunity to make a lot of money. Escobar was one of these traffickers, and he quickly became one of the most successful. Escobar built a massive drug empire that included planes, submarines, and even his own private zoo. But how did he get there? One of the key factors that helped Escobar become so successful was his ability to forge alliances with other drug traffickers. He was very good at networking and building relationships, and he was able to use these connections to expand his empire. How do you think Escobar managed to build his drug empire and become one of the richest people in the world? Escobar's drug empire was built through a combination of his entrepreneurial skills, business savvy, and ruthlessness. He initially started out as a small-time smuggler, but quickly realized the enormous profits that could be made in the cocaine trade. He formed the Medellin cartel, a group of drug traffickers who controlled the production, transportation, and distribution of cocaine. Through this organization, Escobar was able to monopolize the cocaine trade and generate billions of dollars in profits. He used his wealth to bribe officials, politicians, and law enforcement officers to turn a blind eye to his activities and protect his interests. What do you think made Escobar popular among the locals, despite his involvement in drug trafficking and violence? Escobar was popular among the locals because of his philanthropic efforts. He used his immense wealth to build hospitals, schools, and homes for the poor in Medellin, which made him a hero to many people in the city. In addition, he positioned himself as a champion of the people who fought against the government and other criminal organizations that were seen as corrupt and oppressive. He also used his charisma and leadership skills to gain the loyalty of his followers and build a powerful network of supporters. Do you think Escobar's downfall was inevitable, or could he have avoided it somehow? Escobar's downfall was ultimately the result of his own actions and choices. He had made many powerful enemies over the years, including rival drug traffickers, politicians, and law enforcement agencies, and had become increasingly paranoid and violent in his attempts to protect himself and his interests. Escobar was responsible for ordering the deaths of countless people, including politicians, judges, journalists, and innocent civilians. And his brutality had made him a target of the Colombian government and the United States. While it is possible that Escobar could have avoided capture or death by changing his behavior or fleeing the country, his actions had made him too much of a liability for those around him, and his downfall was ultimately inevitable. How do you think Escobar's death impacted the drug trade in Colombia and beyond? Escobar's death had a significant impact on the drug trade in Colombia and beyond. While the Medellin cartel had been weakened by the mid-1990s, Escobar's death marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in the drug trade. The Cali cartel, another powerful drug trafficking organization, took over much of the cocaine trade in Colombia in the wake of Escobar's death. But they were eventually dismantled by law enforcement agencies as well. The Colombian government, with the help of the United States, also launched a major crackdown on the drug trafficking in the country, which led to the arrest and extradition of many high-level drug traffickers. However, the drug trade has persisted in Colombia and other countries, and new drug trafficking organizations have emerged to fill the void left by the downfall of the Medellin and Cali cartels. Pablo Escobar's story is one of the most fascinating and complex tales in modern history. His rise to power, his vast wealth, and his brutal tactics captured the imagination of millions around the world. However, his eventual downfall serves as a stark reminder that no one is above the law, and that the consequences of our actions can be severe. While it's easy to be drawn in by Escobar's charisma and ambition, it's important to remember the lives he destroyed and the violence he wrought. His legacy is a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the impact that one person's actions can have on an entire nation. As we continue to grapple with the ongoing challenges of drug trafficking and corruption, it's essential that we learn from Escobar's mistakes and work towards creating a more just and equitable society for all.